Shiny hunting is the dumbest thing you can do in a Pokemon game, but I just can't seem to get enough of it. In the older Pokemon games, you have a 1 in 8,192 chance of finding a shiny Pokemon, meaning most people can go through these games without ever finding one. You couldn't do much to increase the odds in the older games, or make a weird sandwich with no top bun to increase your shiny chances. Huh, a bunch of tofu and a salty herb. Why do shiny Pokemon like this? Today we'll be taking shiny hunting one step further. I'll be playing the 3rd generation Pokemon games and shiny hunting in the Safari Zone. This was streamed live on my Twitch channel linked below as part of Safari Week, a community event created by Absolblog's Pokemon where we shiny hunt in the Safari Zone. I don't have a Safari hat. I don't even know what this hat is. I got it at a Walmart in Arizona. Is it a fishing hat? Is it a safari hat? I don't know. 6 games. 2 emeralds, 2 rubies, 2 sapphires. And we're going for Giraffe Rig in the Hone Safari Zone. Hope that we can get it. And we're hopping. And this is all we do, chat. Just this. Yeah, that's right. Giraffe Rig. While you're popping sandwiches in Scarlet and Violet for easy shiny Pokemon, I'm hunting for full-odd shiny Pokemon you can't pronounce in regions you've never even been to. You probably don't hear anybody talk about this 2-headed cat dog looking giraffe too much, but it has a great shiny sprite in Gen 3, more specifically the Hoenn Gen 3 games. We'll talk about Fire Red Leaf Green later. And Giraffe Rig in the Safari Zone in Hoenn appears at a 20% encounter rate in this specific part of the zone. With 6 games going at once, we can probably find a shiny one pretty quickly, but there's one crucial aspect of the Safari Zone you might not know that I didn't cover yet. The Safari Zone is one of the only times in a main series Pokemon game where a Pokemon can just flee from you, meaning even if you spend countless hours searching for a shine in the Safari Zone and you encounter it, there's a chance it'll just run away from you and you can't catch it, and people enjoy doing this. Now when I say any Safari Zone, that includes the Great Marsh in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, which has some awesome shinies, and even in BDSP, but shh, no, I'm not allowed to talk about you. And while Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire have a Safari Zone, they completely ruin it by letting you use your own Pokemon to fight them and they don't flee. I don't know about you, but I prefer to throw rocks or bait at my Pokemon like a man and catch them without the aid of any other Pokemon, much like they probably did back in the day in like caveman Pokemon times. Is that the lore behind the Safari Zone, by the way? That it's like the original way to catch Pokemon before they had Pokemon? How did our Pokemon ancestors catch Pokemon with no Pokemon in their party? How did Professor Oak let them go in the grass without a wild Pokemon? Granted, you don't typically want to do anything but throw a ball in the Safari Zone when you find a shiny Pokemon, unless you're playing Fire Red and Leaf Green, which have some weird Safari Zone mechanics to make it so sometimes it's better to throw bait or throw a rock, and sometimes it's not. Look, I don't know how the Fire Red and Leaf Green Safari Zone mechanics really work, and I don't know why anybody would prefer the Fire Red Leaf Green Safari Zone over the Hoenn Safari Zone. I mean, sure, there's a couple of cool shiny Pokemon you could find in the Kanto Safari Zone, like Scyther. About it, actually. But the most common encounters in Kanto are like the Nidoran line, available everywhere else. Paris, which nobody really likes you, Paris. And if you fish, mostly just Magikarp, which is literally everywhere. You could at least get a shiny Dratini or Dragonair, which is pretty awesome, but at that point, on top of trying to catch something in the Safari Zone, which is annoying enough, you also have to fish for it, which is a lot of just this, and is a lot slower than encountering things in the grass. The great thing about the Hoenn Safari Zone, though, is that we have the Acro Bike, allowing us to just hop in place. Aside from just looking cool, the hops count as a step and give you another encounter each time you hop, without actually counting as a step in the Safari Zone, which you normally get kicked after 500 steps. A bit confusing, but as long as you don't actually move up, down, left, or right, it doesn't count as a step, but hopping gives you extra encounters and bypasses that little loophole. It's also a bit easier to just pull the B button down to get encounters rather than running around the D-pad and accidentally running out of the grass, which I tend to do a lot. The one, or rather, one of the many downsides of the Hoenn Safari Zone specifically though, is that in some areas you can only access them with the Mach Bike, and since you can't have both the Mach Bike and the Acro Bike at the same time, instead of hopping around, you have to run around with the Mach Bike and deal with the ding-dong ending your Safari Zone adventure when you have to go back in the zone and go back to the spot, which is even more annoying on multiple games, or just reset your game, which is also annoying because if you're controlling every game with the same controller like I am, you have to wait for all of the games to run out of time before resetting the game, which is pretty hard to sync up. If you couldn't tell by now, or if you're new here, I really like to make things difficult on me when playing Pokemon, and when making videos on Pokemon, like it's been 2 days since I started writing this script, and it's already my 3rd time starting from scratch, so leave a like and subscribe if you want to support that, and no, I'm not asking you, I am telling you, because comments get mad about me asking for likes, therefore, I'm not asking, I'm telling you. And while I didn't want to play different games in different Safari zones because each game has different movement options and different mechanics, I didn't want to play the Heart Gold and Soul Silver Safari Zone just yet, because that Safari Zone requires a rocket science degree to understand how it works. I also really wanted to use this DDR dance pad to control the games at once, but I couldn't get that to work, so one day we'll shine it with the dance pad again, but not now. I threw a lot of Safari balls by accident because of the desyncs, and while I didn't realize it at first, the reason for the desyncs was because the encounters in Emerald take slightly longer due to this animation that plays when you encounter a Pokemon. While I couldn't fix this in time for Safari Week 2025, I can fix it for next year by doing the only logical thing I can think of. Order more copies of Ruby and Sapphire to replace the 2 Emeralds, and these ones are in Italian. Also, I got Emerald version in Italian because why not complete the set at that point? And while the stickers are missing, they're still molto bene and Italian. As I'm writing this part of the script, they haven't arrived yet though. It'd be really funny if they arrive in the middle of me making this video, but they're coming all the way from Europe, so I expect them to take a while. Now, if you factor in this Japanese copy of Ruby that I have with our new Italian games, that means I could technically do 10 times hunting. And yeah, this is my life now. Now, it turns out that I wasn't playing totally optimally, and we'll get to that soon, but I certainly was streaming optimally thanks to my Facecam. That's where OBSBot, the sponsor for today's video, come into play. I've been using their PaPaSea webcam for a while on stream, even during the entirety of Safari Week, and while comparing it side by side with my main camera that costs over $500, it still looks quite amazing, especially when considering the fact that the PaPaSea is a fraction of the price, costing only $69 in the United States. You can use the OBSBot Center app for extra customization, enable gestures like this to zoom in or even zoom out, and I'm even using the PaPaSea to record the entire Facecam portion of this video. It records in 1080p at 100 FPS, which for that price is just fantastic, has exceptional low light performance, and has AI auto framing and gesture control to always make sure you're in the shot. If I was just starting out with streaming or making videos, I would definitely get the PaPaSea, and one of my favorite parts about it is how small it is and how easy you can set it up. Like, for real, it's just one single USB-C wire, you don't have to worry about any dummy batteries, HDMI cords, a power cable, or anything like that. Check out the PaPaSea linked below, and thanks again to OBSBot for sponsoring this video. With my sponsorship obligation out of the way, let's get back into the zone, not the auto zone, and explain how I can be more optimal with my encounters, and not just by buying more Pokemon games even if they're in Italian. There's a few ways to boost the encounter rates in the Generation 3 Pokemon games. First is with the White Flute, and I'm not just talking about the one your mom likes to play, but the one given to you by the weird coughing guy next to Fall Over Town. If you get the soot sack from him, then run around the nearby grass to collect enough soot, he can then turn that into a different type of flute, and the White Flute, when you use it, increases your chances of encountering wild Pokemon. Yeah, I don't really get it either, but if we do this in all 6 games, it'll up the encounter rates in each game, and overall upgrade our encounter rates drastically. The issue is I was trying to do this all with one controller controlling 6 games at once, with each encountering Pokemon at different routes in the grass and having different amounts of soot, and 2 being in Japanese, which I can't even read. I mean, I can't read Italian either, and I still ordered those games in Italian, but still. There's another step we have to take after getting the soot, but for now I decided to do each game individually to get the White Flute, and do the same boring task 6 times. When I wrote that, I didn't realize that running around in the grass for soot is basically the same thing as hopping in the grass for a shiny Pokemon, but again, us shiny hunters are insane. Doing this one by one took a while, but it was a lot less of a headache controlling 6 games at once. There is one more thing we can do to boost our encounter rates, and that is with the ability Illuminate. Illuminate's a handy ability that just increases the chance of finding wild Pokemon. It's found on Chinchou, which is this weird silly fish guy found at the bottom of the ocean with dive, so of course I had to find a Pokemon with surf, Pokemon with dive, go to the right dive spot, run around in the grass, or I guess swim around in the grass underwater, till I found a Chinchou, caught them, realized they had the wrong ability in Volt Absorb, caught some more, and then finally had 6 Illuminate Pokemon to increase our chances to the maximum potential alongside with White Flute while hopping in the grass in the Safari Zone. All of this for a blue giraffe. If my math is right, this should increase our encounters per hour by about 50%, and at this point we're getting around 850 encounters per hour, and after using the White Flute with Illuminate, it brought that to 1150 per hour, which was way better and just under a 50% increase. That means just over 7 hours at 1150 encounters per hour will be right around 8,192 encounters, which is the chance to find a shiny Pokemon, but just because you hit 8,192 encounters doesn't mean you're guaranteed to find a shiny Pokemon for sure. 7 hours is a lot of time to sink into this, and I was only able to allot 3 days to shiny hunting during Safari Week since I had other important things to do, like beat Pokemon with a Pokewalker, so our time is rather limited. Now, while I'd prefer to get a shiny giraffe rig, I'll gladly take any shiny Pokemon that I can catch. Hopefully multiple shinies, as long as we don't have some ridiculous phases. Are you kidding me? 5th shiny Scraggy. Look, at least it's in the center. At least it's in the center. Yeah, that clip was from an X and Y video I'm working on where I was hunting for a shiny Gulpin, and I found 5 Scraggies before 1 Gulpin, and Gulpin is the more common encounter on that route. I don't know what I'll do if I find multiple Oddishes before I find a target shiny, although at one point I did see 6 Oddishes on screen at the same time, which was basically like a shiny reaction. This was almost like a mini game trying to get matching encounters, or my favorite, the 2-2-2, where each line had the same encounter. It meant nothing, but when you're just sitting here hopping in the grass for hours upon hours, you have to entertain yourself somehow. I got a feeling, and maybe this is copium, I'm gonna get it before 5,000. I'm gonna get a shiny before 5k. I feel it in my bones. In the next, 770 encounters? Something will shine. I can't confidently say if I'll catch it or not. I have no idea, but something will shine. Saying something like that is just textbook Shiny Hunter copium, especially since most people I knew were going well over 10k encounters without even finding a single shiny, let alone a phase. Even if I get a shiny, there's no guarantee we can even catch it because of the Safari Zone mechanics. Then at encounter 4,566, this happened. Oh! Shiny Natu! Shiny Natu, and that's in the childhood copy of Emerald! Oh, let's go! Let's go! That was my 3rd choice for a shiny, so not too bad. At least it wasn't an Oddish or a Gloom. It's not the main shiny that I want, so we should just keep going, although I decided to move the 2 Emerald games to a new area exclusive to Emerald that has some cool Gen 2 Pokemon like Houndour and no Oddish. It doesn't have Giraffe Ring on this part of the game, but we still have 4 games going for you, so hopefully that's enough. This went on for about 1,200 more encounters until I called it quits with the intention of shiny hunting later that night off stream while watching other people's Safari Week streams. Another thing I really like about Safari Week and just shiny hunting in general and the community in general was just vibing and shiny hunting on my own without streaming it and watching other people shiny hunt. We'd hang out in Discord calls shiny hunting in the Safari Zone, and it was just a good time overall during the week. I was watching Magnemite stream where he was going for a shiny Duskull and Heart Gold, a fantastic shiny by the way, and then this happened. Oh! Shiny Boba Fett! Oh! I'm watching Magnemite stream. I was about to give up on like 6,600 encounters, I'll stop. Alright, now in the moment of truth, can I catch it? Just throw a ball. It's on the used copy of Ruby. Broke free. Okay, I'm just gonna throw another ball. 1 shake. 2 shake. Just watching carefully. 1, 2, 3. That was only around 2,000 encounters after the shiny Natu, giving us 2 shinies very well under odds. After that, I decided to go for 7,000 total encounters before calling it a night, and while I do have 2 full odds Gen 3 shinies, they aren't my first choice, and I still want that Giraffe Ring. I also unknowingly committed a Shiny Hunter sin. I am sorry, Shiny Hunters, but I kept track of my overall encounters and didn't reset the counter when I found a shiny and just put a note at the bottom of the encounter that I found a shiny at. But I only did that because I want to see how many total encounters I got. So Shiny Hunters, I'm sorry. Let's get our Safari Zone shinies to my main copy of Emerald version now and record the trade showing off the shiny Pokemon recorded off of my PaPaSea webcam. A lot of shiny hunters prefer to point cameras to their consoles while hunting, especially on multiple consoles, and the PaPaSea is perfect for that due to its compact size and how it doesn't get into the way of the games like some of my other cameras would in the past. Any nature guesses, by the way, for these Pokemon? Turns out our Natu is a serious nature and Wobbuffet is bold. While I send them out to battle, I can tell you about how the PaPaSea comes in 3 nice colors, like this gray one that I have, and works well in low light, as the lighting around me while recording this part of the video wasn't the best. It even comes with this compact and easy to use mount and a privacy cover that can be put right on the mount because it's magnetic. Thanks again to Oswald for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check them out linked in the description for great deals on some of the best webcams I've used. The next day I set out with the same mission I had all week, holding the B button in the Safari Zone until this giraffe turns blue. I focused all 6 games on giraffe for this day, and had a goal of getting to at least 10,000 total encounters. Most Shiny Hunters keep track of encounters, and that's not something I usually do, another sin I commit in the Shiny Hunting community. mainly since when I typically shiny hunt, to do it off stream, and I don't want to have to worry about keeping track of how many encounters I had, which is just another thing to worry about. I have no idea how long some of my off-stream shiny hunts have been going for, like my Turtwig soft resets in Pokemon Platinum, which have been going on for over a year now, although I did order more DS capture cards, and I have 3 copies of Platinum now, so expect a Turtwig soft reset stream soon. I know I've been saying that for a year, but soon. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about before I went on the Turtwig tangent, but I'm pretty sure 10,000 will be the most encounters I've ever done for a single shiny hunt ever. Turtwig might have passed that because it's been a year and a half and I did spend multiple hours a day shiny hunting, especially early on, but those are rookie numbers compared to most other shiny hunters. But hey, so far I got 2 shinies in the zone that didn't run away from us, so I'll take it. This also means that I am yet to fail a shiny, which is kind of surprising, because people always fail shinies, and if anybody's gonna fail a shiny in weird fashion, it's probably going to be me. Anyway, I managed to get to 10,000 total encounters between all 6 games, and still no shiny giraffe. We walked away with my second choice in Natu and my third choice in Wobbuffet. You can really flip-flop them, I don't know which one I like better, to be honest. Both well under odds, and maybe next year with a bit more preparation, we can go all out for Safari. We can possibly hunt on multiple different games in multiple different zones, or maybe do every zone at once, which would be absolute chaos, and I kind of like that idea. Until next time though, you have to deal with me doing other weird silly things in this game, making videos on it, and I don't think you want to miss it. Or maybe you do, I don't know, maybe you're tired of me doing these weird stuff, but yeah. That's it for Safari Week 2025, my first Safari Week, by the way. Bye.